Imagine this, it's 2019 and you've just read an article on the internet about how you can make money through freelancing and have a side income stream. You go to a freelancing platform like Fiverr or Upwork, find some work, make money and feel good about yourself. The client you just worked with got to work with a freelancer from around the world without worrying about the logistics of payment or communication. And the platform took a cut from every transaction, growing quickly year over year. And this was just about to speed up exponentially due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Snap back to reality and you'll see a very different picture. Freelancers are struggling to find work due to massive competition, low rates and high fees. Clients are not able to get high quality work and have to deal with unreliable or unprofessional freelancers. And the platforms, well, their stock is crashing, growth is slowing down and they face a lot of challenges from generative AI. What went wrong? How did freelancing platforms go from being the future of work to being broken? And more importantly, can we fix them or are they doomed to fail? In this video, we'll explore these questions and more. Freelancing platforms were supposed to create a win-win situation for everyone involved. For the platforms, they could make money by connecting the buyers and sellers of services and taking a commission from each transaction. They could also offer additional services like dispute resolution and ratings and reviews to make life easier for everyone. For the buyers, they could access a global pool of talent and find freelancers who could do anything from graphic design to web development to voiceovers. They could also save time and money by outsourcing tasks that they didn't have the skills or resources to do themselves. And for the freelancers, they could work from anywhere, anytime and on their own terms. They could also choose projects that match their interests and skills and set their rates and deadlines. They could build their reputation and portfolio by getting feedback and testimonials from clients. This was the ideal situation that many people envisioned when they first joined these freelancing platforms. And for a while, it seemed to work. The number of freelancers also increased steadily over the years. The COVID-19 pandemic also boosted the demand and supply of online freelancing as more people lost their jobs or looked for alternative sources of income. Freelancing platforms seemed to be on a roll, riding the wave of the gig economy and the digital transformation. But things were not as rosy as they appeared. Despite the growth and popularity of online freelancing, there are many problems and challenges that plague the platforms, the buyers and the sellers. Just for example, for platforms, one of the biggest issues is the loss of revenue due to people using the platform to find opportunities and then carrying out the conversation outside. So their share doesn't go to the platform. This is a common practice among freelancers and clients who want to avoid paying fees or having their communication monitored by the platform. Platforms know this and they've tried to prevent it by introducing things like ratings and reviews, which you receive only on successful completion of the work. I'm not sure how effective it is though. The challenge here is to find an alternative to commission-based revenue, and it isn't something they haven't tried. Just that the solution doesn't seem the best. A lot of platforms have introduced pay per bid or subscription models where freelancers have to pay upfront to bid on projects or access premium features. But these measures have backfired in many ways. For one thing, they create a barrier to entry for new or low-income freelancers who can't afford to pay upfront or risk losing money on bids that don't get accepted. For another thing, they create a perverse incentive for platforms to not let the freelancers find a potential buyer for long, because that would mean losing a source of recurring revenue. Another and a major reason for the growth slowdown of these platforms and the decline of stock prices is just that as things got back to normal after the pandemic and people started going back to their in-office jobs, they didn't rely on freelancing platforms too much or simply didn't have the time to manage these side hustles. A new threat to these platforms coming up recently is the emergence of generative AI, which can create content that rivals or surpasses human quality. And while it has come up as a threat to these platforms, as in it has the potential to fulfill a buyer's requirements without them needing to hire freelancers, it can also be seen as an opportunity if these freelancing platforms are quick to capitalize on this. And a lot of them have already started adding AI services to their site. For sellers, one of the biggest challenges is competing competing with millions of other freelancers who offer similar or identical services. This creates a race to the bottom, where freelancers have to lower their prices to attract buyers or stand out from the crowd. And because the platforms take a significant cut from their earnings, they end up earning very little for their work. To make matters worse, the demand and supply ratio is screwed up. And also, some platforms have introduced pay-per-bid models that force freelancers to pay upfront to bid on projects. This means that the sellers have to spend money before they can make any money, and if they don't get hired or paid by clients, they lose money. This model also creates a disincentive for freelancers to bid on projects that are not well defined or have low budgets, because they have to pay upfront regardless of whether they get hired or not. This reduces the chances of finding suitable projects that match their skills and interests. In conclusion, things aren't going well for the sellers or the platforms, but the buyers or the clients are also not the ones reaping all the benefits. Even they are not happy. For the buyers, one of the main challenges is finding high quality work which matches their expectations and requirements. While there are many talented and professional freelancers on the platforms, there are also many who are inexperienced, unskilled, or dishonest. And because the platforms have a large and diverse pool of freelancers, it can be hard to filter out the good from the bad, and hence it becomes important for the freelancing platforms to filter out the best candidate for a particular job. But these filters are not foolproof or consistent, and they can also create biases or barriers for freelancers who don't fit the criteria or standards of the platforms. And even if the freelancers pass the screening, there is no guarantee that they'll deliver high quality work and maintain their performance over time. Another challenge for the buyers is communicating and collaborating with freelancers effectively and efficiently. While most of the platforms provide messaging or file sharing features, they are not optimized for the best collaboration or coordination experience. And some platforms monitor or censor the communication between buyers and sellers, which can create privacy or trust issues. That's why many buyers prefer to communicate with freelancers over WhatsApp, Slack, Discord, or Zoom to communicate with freelancers, even if the primary purpose is not to save on transaction fees. These platforms offer more features for communication and collaboration, such as voice and video calls, screen sharing, group chats, integration with other apps, and encryption. Although carrying forward the conversation somewhere else often means the violation of terms and conditions of the platforms, people do this all the time and get away with it, and the platforms have to bear the damage. So to sum up, there are a lot of problems, but can we fix them? Well, turns out we can't. Most of these problems are due to the skewed ratio of demand and supply on these platforms. From a distance, it seems like the supply is way higher than the demand, but the irony is, even after such a huge supply of freelancers, there is still a huge shortage and demand of skilled freelancers. Most of the people that make up this supply don't have the skills to do the job in the first place, and that's the real problem that needs to be fixed, not the platforms. If you enjoyed and got some value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.